Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Caroline Biesalski. She is a coach, writer, podcast host, entrepreneur, founder of Reflection8 Inc. And with a passion for inspiring change, Caroline helps individuals move from thinking into results and achieve success both personally and professionally. Welcome to the show, Caroline.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank
You,
you.
you are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Caroline. And I am sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to discuss right now. We'll talk about turning inspired choices into tangible results. We'll talk about this and a lot more. But before that, Caroline, let's understand a bit about you, your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity to present myself to a worldwide audience. So, my journey began in Germany, where I was born and raised, and my first foreign language was French. Then, after at the age of 13, I think, I began to learn the English language and I discovered my passion for foreign countries, cultures, and languages. But my problem was, my greatest challenge was, I was not speaking. So in school, I was always writing, and so I received my marks, but I was never speaking. But I wanted to go to university as well and study economics, and I studied psychology as well after that. So this is my journey. My journey is, in the beginning, I thought I cannot do other things than accounting. So I learned this and I built a successful company over the last 16 years until 2 years ago. I found out this is not what I really want. This is not my passion. This is not my calling. So I started speaking and I started to gain confidence within myself, right? And here I am. I created my podcast. This was always a dream I had within me.
Wonderful, wonderful. This was the dream. And now let me understand. You talk about, inspired choices, inspired uh, choices into tangible results. So I want to understand what what do we understand from inspired choices and then turning into tangible results.
Of course. Thank you for asking me that. So I had a mentor 3 years ago, and it was Bob Proctor. And Bob Proctor asked one question. It was, "What do you really, really want?" And then I never asked me that before. And then first I understood that I have a choice. I have a choice to choose what I want for my life. So this is important. This is where the word choice came from. In the beginning, it started with making a decision, with accepting this question to be answered by myself, of course. And when you talk about inspired choices, there is something more, something like spirit. The word spirit lies in the word inspired as well. So, first of all, you gain your power, your own power back with this question: what do you really, really want? And then you realize there is a guidance. You receive guidance from a source you cannot see, from a spirit, so to say. And this is why I named my podcast Inspired Choice, because we all have the choice every single day. We get to choose wisely, and then we are guided through our lives.
Absolutely, absolutely. So how should we understand? You advise a lot of people. You are a coach. How should we understand that the inspiration we have got is the correct sort of inspiration? In your case, also, you wanted to be an accountant. You became an accountant. Then from there you moved on. Then you moved on into coaching. Now you are doing coaching also. But you found the dream come true is in podcasting, and that is where you are doing wonderfully well. Global podcaster now, you are doing wonderfully well in your podcast and have built things around you. So, how does one know whether they are making the right choices, inspired choices? Tomorrow, it could be something else, or they could just think of something else which may not be the right choice. Men's, people's whole understanding of things, their choices can lead them to, different paths, difficult paths, wrong paths.
Absolutely. The right choice can lead you to your success. And you are always successful when you follow your choices, so to say, your calling. And I can explain the difference between choice and decision. Choice is something you choose, it is something between two or more possibilities or opportunities you choose. A decision is something. It is forever. So you say yes to one thing and no to everything else. A choice is something you choose for today, but tomorrow you can choose something else, or you can go back to when you did a wrong decision, so to say. So the question was, how do people discover their choices or their inspiration? And it is simple, to so to say, but not easy to follow when you never did this before. So this is where coaching comes into play. But first of all, you have to recognize that the answer to your questions always lies within. Or I also can say that when you have a question, the answer is already there, because without question, no answer, and vice versa. So you can ask yourself, you can go within yourself and ask your intuition, and then you receive the answer by feeling. It comes like a feeling, an impulse, and then you act on this impulse. This is what we call inspired action as well.
Absolutely, inspired action. So help us understand, talk about thinking into results. What does that mean?
Yes, this is not something I invented. It is a successful program by Bob Proctor. And as the consultant for Bob Proctor's programs, then I am able to facilitate this program. So, what does it mean? Thinking, we all know, or we have an idea about what thinking is. It can be mental activity for some people. It is something what happens in your mind, right? So the idea is that you get to choose your thoughts. And by choosing your thoughts, you determine the direction where you are going. That means the outcome are the results, right? We can also say the fruits of what you saw. And you are sowing, and then you are reaping, and the result is what you want to, let's say, influence or determine, because most of the people are going through the world like drifters. They don't know where they are going because they don't have goals. So you set a goal for yourself, and then you think this goal into a result. Mhm.
Into a result, and how should one look at the result part? Is it sometimes people say, some people's uh, say result would be a profit, some people's will be about purpose. uh, what do your clients generally come to you for? Is there a confusion about choices, or is it a confusion about results?
No, the choice is the vehicle you get faster to your result. So there's a quote that says you are the sum total of the decisions or the choices you make within one day, within a month, within your life. You are the sum of your choices, let's say. And it is the vehicle. So when we look at the results, of course, and goals, this is something else for each person. So you have to discover your calling. What is it what you really, really want? And then we work from that point that you have already achieved your goal. And you asked me for some examples. Of course, we have five main fields to cover. This is relationships, this is love, health, wealth, and let's say happiness. But the money part, of course, the money part is always the strongest, because we are so focused on money, and money is measurable as well. So you can set a money goal, for example, earn $1 million within 1 year or so. Then you can measure it and you can work from that.
Right, right. So to action your choices into results, what are the tools, what is the mindset that one would have to employ into this to be able to achieve the desired results for themselves, either for themselves or for the community as a whole?
Yes, I understand. So, of course, maybe you talk about I'm a coach and I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching because there are advantages in both of the possibilities. And you ask about the process. So, of course, it takes little time to understand how to change the mindset. But one thing I can share with you, it's about self-image. So it's about, let's say, training your mind to think as the person that already achieved the goal, right? And ask the question, what would she do? In my case, it's a woman. What would she do? In your case, what would he do if he achieved this goal? Or in other words, would he still, yeah, in your case, would he still doing podcasts, for example, if he reached this goal, you know? Yes, this is the question.
Right, right. Now, in your case, you made a transition from accounting to coaching, and you made a success out of it. A lot of people resist change. They don't want to change. Some people embrace change, but then you don't know whether it will be success or failure, but you do it because you want to do it. How is it that people can make that change, whatever they want to, and that make that change, leverage that change into success? How should they do it? What is your experience about that in life? What is it that you tell your client? What would you like to tell the audience about it?
Oh, thank you so much for asking. It's my favorite question as well. So people avoid change. You said I would say that everyone wants change in their life because change or growth means change, or you only grow. You grow by if you change something. But they refuse to being changed by other people. So first of all, they have to be coachable, of course, and they have to accept help when they understand that they cannot do it alone. So you don't have to do it alone. There's always help around you. And the next thing is make a decision that this is not how you want to go on in your life. You don't want that anymore. So of course we talk about a certain pain point that is reached when people say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired, for example. Of course. And yeah, this is the thing. You make a decision and then you accept help or you ask for help, of course, and then you book a coach, for example. It's the best way. It's someone who is already been through what you are in right now, and he or she can assist you and guide you through it. That means you save time as well.
Absolutely. And so, amidst this journey, then, the role of networking, how should one, maximize the importance of networking, make the right choices in terms of people, the right kind of network to make it a success, the inspired choices into successful results? How should they do it? How should they look at networking? Then, in networking in Germany is different than networking in the US. So I want to understand it for the audience. How should they look at networking?
Oh, yes, thank you for asking. I studied a lot of countries in the last month and years, of course. And you know what? I was not the person, I was the opposite of the person of doing networking. When there was an event, I was staying in the car outside and waiting until it was over, I tell you. And I was avoiding people. I had not a coaching, a training against social phobia 3 years ago. So I was avoiding talking to people, and I can tell you, since I started this podcast, and it's only been 10 months, and I recorded 445 episodes, by the way, and you are my great example, a role model, because you have so much more. Yes, thank you so much. And I can tell you what you experience when you make the first move is really I cannot express it how grateful I am that I jumped into the unknown outside my comfort zone. And your question was about how important is networking. I did not forget about this. So my podcast is all about connecting people all around the world because having one guest is not having one guest. It is the connection with the audience, the expertise, and the building the trust as well between the three, the guest, the host, and the listeners, right? And it is so important because it creates peace on earth. And it means we do not have to be enemies. We can do networking, we can collaborate, we can do business together, we can have friendships, we can meet in person one day. And it is so important. I tell you something, and my listeners, for example, in the Inspired Choice today, these are all people ready, as I was 2 years ago, ready to make the first step. And all they need is one little piece of courage, a piece of courage to do the first step, to have faith that the next step will show up once you started.
Absolutely, absolutely, Caroline. You're well put in this particular thing about networking. Now about leadership. People talk about leadership in many places. How should people look at leadership in this journey? They may not be a leader. They may be simple person. How should they utilize the self leadership here, or lead their team, or lead whoever it is with them or not with them, and get their work done and move forward, make it a transformative leadership for them? So how does that work?
Oh, I love that you mentioned the self leadership as well. So we know that you first have to lead yourself in order to lead others. We can also say in order to become a great leader, you first have to be a great follower as well. So you can have a leading example and look at other people who are already at the place you want to be in. And then, of course, you talk about self leadership. That means you lead your thoughts. We talked about thoughts and choices. You lead your thoughts, your choices and decisions first, so that you have the control. You control them. You control your emotions and therefore your actions as well. You see, there's a lot of mindset coaching now here from my expertise. Yes, of course. And I was a leader as well. I still am. So I want to emphasize that everyone is a leader. Everyone is a leader. And I had a company with 6 employees. You remember the accounting company? And I did group coaching with my employees, and it was a great experience as well. So it is important. I would say a leader is someone who takes initiative, that doing things no one told you to do. So you know what is right, and you do things in a certain way as well. So you know where you are going, and this is why you are a leader. So you are in the first place, you know where you are going, and everyone else is following. I think two qualities I can point out about leadership is it is one. One is accept or ask for help or support when you need to, and the second thing would always be to delegate authority. That means you trust your employees that they can do the job, and then you don't have to work so much in your company. You can work on your company instead, which is so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, Caroline, you are a successful global podcaster. You are there, and you are giving voice to so many of the people that you interview. You give them that voice. Amidst this, while giving others their voice, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a successful podcaster, what happens to your own voice? How do you find your own voice? How do you keep your own voice intact? How do you make sure that giving others the power of their voice does not drown your voice itself? It can be sometimes. How do you keep that in today's time?
Oh, I understand what you mean. Okay, there's one quote I want to say or mention here. It is when you help someone climbing the mountain, you are on the mountain too. That means it is like helping others and receiving back. And for me, it is the other way around. It is giving back because I received so much help, support, and love and gifts the last years. I mean, all my life. And now it's time to give back because, as you know, I closed my accounting company and I started traveling the world as well. So this is my gift to the world. And when I started my podcast, I asked all the people I knew and I met before in the last 2 or 3 years because I wanted to say thank you. And I wanted to improve, not improve, I mean to deepen to deepen the relationship as well. And this is what I do in my podcast episodes, connecting the world. And you talked about it can be stressing. No, it isn't. Podcasting is my passion. When I connect to people, it is something that always fuels me by inspiring others. So if it would not inspire me anymore, I would quit immediately because this is not what I came for. So I came to this world, and I always say my purpose in life is to choose what I love and to turn away from what I don't love. Maybe this is a message your audience needs as well. It helped me to make choices to with the people I surround myself with and with the actions I take.
Absolutely. To make choices, to make inspired choices, Caroline. One thing I want to understand is, that in terms of your podcast now, you are doing very well. But how do you plan your life for the future in terms of, say, next year? Now only two more months to go, a few days more to go, and then the next year comes in. How do you plan for the next year? Is it more travel, more podcasting? How does it work?
Yes, absolutely. It is more traveling, it is more podcasting because, as I mentioned, episode 445, I committed to 1111. And I can tell you, it is not the end. It is just a goal I want to reach. And I recognized during the journey that I love it so much. I will continue as well because it is about meeting people, building relationships, connecting, and also, it's the wisdom as well. It is, you call your podcast Masterclass. It is because we learn something, and we can always learn something, take away something. But I know your question was about my plans. I have so many plans. So there are books coming out. I think at least 3 books are already planned now. The Art of Connection. The Art of Connection series. Its topic is abundance. It will come out in December. Then I have my own book coming out about the inspired choice today, and another one about the Success Club because I'm involved in a Success Club as well. It is a collaboration, and yeah, I love it. And then, of course, the long-term goal is doing movies. So I'm a writer, and maybe also screenplays are there somewhere, and then entering the movie industry.
Absolutely. There is much to learn from you, Caroline. And this is just one podcast episode with me, but your podcast, you have got many episodes. Inspired Choice. Today, you are the podcast host of that. So, tell a bit about your podcast so that people can reach your podcast, listen to it, and learn a lot directly from your podcast itself.
Okay. There's a book called The 1% Method or something. It says when you change something, and there's a topic of change again, when we change 1% per day of our personality or our habits, then we will succeed, and we change in so many ways. So 15 minutes is 1% of your day time. And I am convinced that we can change a thought or a behavior, a habit with 15 minutes per day. So my podcast episodes are 15 minutes to inspire you. And I have a guest in almost every episode. There are solo episodes, but maybe 5 or 10. I don't know. So I invite a guest to inspire you. And if you only take one thought of this episode and implement it in your day, because it doesn't stop when you just hear about it or you read a book. It's the application that counts, that makes a new habit, right? So you take one new thought and adapt it, that says implement it into your life, and then you change already without noticing, in 15 minutes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I said, there is much to learn from you, understand from you. And so, for those people who want to learn more from you, about you, about your upcoming books, and about your podcast, what's the best way for them to connect with you?
Oh, connection is always recommended via LinkedIn. This is my favorite business platform. Of course, I'm also at Be Connected. It's a new platform. It's my baby, so to say. I love this new platform. You can check it out. And I don't know if I can mention I have a freebie as well.
Of course, feel free. Don't worry.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
you
I
mention it.
have a freebie. It's to go from zero to podcast hero. It's 7 steps guide, and you can dive into that. I can share the link, of course. Just shoot me a DM, and I'm there. I'm always open to talking to you to help you with one idea, because sometimes you only need one idea to move on. During your day. So I'm here. I'm passionate about helping people achieve their goal, just giving an idea and they can move on.
Wonderful. Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.